Great, wonderful. Well, thank you for being here, those who are here live and those who will be listening virtually. My name is Judy Stewart. I am the career counselor at the Stanford Business School. I am here with my colleagues, Tricia, Kathy, Sue, and some students who have joined us today. And what we're going to be talking about today, the title is Applied, Waiting for Offers, What Gives? So I know that all of us hear a lot and experience ourselves the frustration of applying on different portals and different jobs and not hearing back. So we're going to be talking about that. I think that we can share some good tips with you. And having said that, I'm just going to start sharing my screen so that we can get started. Okay, so hang on one second. Okay, and I think I'm sharing my screen, right? Yes. Okay, hold on one more second. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so as I said, the title of this is Applied and Waiting, and we know how frustrating that can be. So I just really want to focus on this picture because sometimes a picture tells 1,000 words, and for me, this one told 1,000 words. So this is sometimes what we feel like. We apply, we're checking our email, we're just sitting there pondering what to do next, or trying not to give up, trying to stay motivated. So this is just a good snapshot of what it feels like when you've applied to many jobs and you haven't heard back. So I want to show you a more positive picture. And that's really going to be what we're going to be talking about, which is that it's very easy to apply to many jobs, even to have interviews with employers at career fair or through other methods, and then just wait. And that is the biggest downfall. That's the biggest issue. That is the biggest opportunity for you to do something proactive for yourself. So if you look at this one, it's about being proactive, and it is about keeping a checklist, and it's about following up and keeping track of where things are. We are all very busy. I know students are very busy with schoolwork, but especially as you become a junior and above, and those internships and those jobs are so critically important. The most ineffective way to find something is to go on these, especially bigger portals, and to apply for many jobs. That's the good part, but then to just sit back and wait. So I'm going to give you some tips, some practical tips that will help you during that period, because the truth is, once you apply, I would say 99% of people do not follow up after they apply, and that's when you can really make some traction with employers and stand out. So the agenda in general is we're going to do a section on ways to stay organized during your search and ways to communicate. We're going to talk a lot about how to communicate, because that is the only tool that you have during that period, is different approaches to communicating and different ways that you can get employers to notice you. So hopefully we can share some good ideas about that. And then the last and most important is follow up, follow up, follow up. Okay. So I think many students have asked, how many times should I follow up? And the answer is just keep following up. I'm going to talk about ways to do it that are professional, that are persistent, that are engaging. But the truth is that there's no such thing as follow up twice or follow up 3 times. For some employers, if they're busy, you need to nudge every once in a while, and you need to nudge not just during that period, but at other periods when you check in. So we're going to cover that as well. So the next thing is ways to stay organized. So if I know when I was in a job search, you know, you can apply to 5 or 10 or more jobs, and how do you keep track, and what was that job and what was that company? So however is best for you. Some people like to do it in a spreadsheet. Some people like to do it in a Google Doc or something like that. But however it's best for you to keep the details of the job, you know, attach the link to the posting. You have to keep track so that when, you know, it's a process, so that when people contact you, you're right, you have a place to put their name, something that's organized. Always get their email, okay? Many times, especially on a big portal, you are applying, we call it a black hole. Whenever possible, when you make a connection, get their email. And when we're together and when life is normal again, you know, we would say get their business card if there's something in person. We're all virtual right now, so it's always get their email, because their email is the key to getting back to them. And then while we're on email, again, when you're in a job search, make sure that you check your email twice a day. You never know when somebody's going to respond back to you. And after all that hard work to apply, to do your resume, to possibly do a cover letter, you want to make sure that you didn't miss their email and that you got back to them in a timely fashion. The other thing is most employers will contact you on email. Some, though, will reach out on a text, depending upon different companies are doing different things now. They may reach out on a text, they may phone you. So use the employer's preferred method. If they phone you, phone them back. If they text you, text them back. So, but don't, if you have their phone number, don't you be the first one to text them. Wait for them to kind of set the protocol for you. The other thing is, while you are waiting, this is all while you are waiting, as I said in that first picture, you can stare at the screen and wonder why you're not hearing back, or you can do some detective work. You can go onto LinkedIn or Handshake. You can find other employees or alumni that are working at this company. You can connect with them. You can start to pick their brain. You can get a sense of connections that they can open doors for you with. The other thing that you've heard about is many of the bigger companies have something called employee referrals. So what that means, I kind of call that a win-win for both of you. And companies love employee referrals. They love it because if you're a good employee, they want more of you. So they figure that if you recommend somebody from your university or a friend or a relative, something like that, that they're going to be a high quality, talented employee like you. So employee referrals are wonderful. The reason I call it a win-win is because many of the bigger companies actually have a bonus or a reward. So employees want to refer you because if you're hired, they get a bonus or a reward, or some companies do a present or something like that. But most companies will do a cash bonus. So they love referring you. So once you make the connection, if somebody works at a company and they are willing to do that, ask them if they will refer you. So we have said, don't just wait. The most important thing is that I can tell you from the recruiter side, they are sitting there with hundreds of resumes, and they are just two-dimensional pieces of paper to that employer. what will make a difference if they can put a name and a face, and the name and a face is if you reach out to them on LinkedIn, if you reach out to them once you can figure out their email in an engaging email. There's lots of different ways that you can stand out during that period. Okay, as I said in the bullet before, do some detective work. We have UConn is a big university. We've got alumni at many, many companies. So try to reach out to them or start asking people. Don't be embarrassed to talk about the fact that you're looking for an internship or looking for a job. The last bullet point here is a check-in, okay? So what most of students say to all of us is, I don't want to be a pest. I don't want to be annoying. And here's what I want you to know. You're not annoying when you check in. You are not annoying when you follow up. You are showing your professionalism. You're showing your enthusiasm for the company. And check-ins are a really good thing. So I encourage you, even if the job is over, that company will have other jobs. They actually may have other jobs right now that aren't even posted yet. So check-ins are a good thing, and you're not a pest and you're not annoying. And we're going to talk about some ways to check in and follow up professionally. I said in an earlier seminar on Monday, one thing when you're interacting with employers is try not to use Google Docs. You think that you know that Google Docs needs permissions and you need to interact with somebody's personal email. So employers are not interested in Google Docs. So many of you have it, but you do need to format over to PDF or Word, or of course, a regular email to their professional email. But PDF and Word is for when you're sending a resume or something like that. And know that when you're switching from Google Docs to PDF and Word, sometimes the formatting changes. So please proof and double proof and check your formatting before you send that out. When you are interacting with an employer in your follow-up, in your check-ins, make sure that it's always about them and their needs. So many times students say, well, how do I know? How do I know what they want me to say or what their needs are? And it's really very simple. They have given you the biggest clue in the world in the job description. So stick with the job description and look under qualifications, and just make sure that when you interact with them, if you do have their email, that first of all, you start out by some sort of a grabber sentence that gets their attention about their company, about something going on in the news with their company, and then go back to that job description and say, you know, I applied, I'm looking forward to hearing back. Here I see that you're looking for XYZ. You take that right from the job description. And here are some accomplishments where I've used those skills. Very brief bullet points, but you are addressing their needs because they've told you their needs in the job description. So always make sure that that your communication is about them and their needs, and short and bullet point. So I said that we keep it short and simple and very engaging. If you followed up once or twice and you're not hearing back, try a different approach. It is very easy these days to find a recent news article, and with recent, I mean within the last 6 months, something that the company has done. So just swipe that news article, put it into your email, and just say, hi, just checking in. I remain so interested in Synchrony Financial. I saw this recent news article. I would love to hear back from you. Here again is my email, or something. You know, I'm just, you can do that way better than I just did. But the point is, swipe a news article, just try a different approach. The fact that you have done a little work and are showing enthusiasm. We had an employer join us on Monday, our last seminar, and I believe that he said, you know, the employer just wants to see the enthusiasm from you, the fact that you've taken the time to read an article about the company or looked at a LinkedIn post or something like that. And it will make you stand out. So right now, instead of staring at that screen and wondering and getting frustrated, I know that this is a little bit more time consuming, but it will keep you going and keep you moving forward. And again, you only need 1 or 2 of the right doors to open for you. You don't need 40 or 50. So you need 1 or 2 to start opening for you. And these are some tips that you can do, and you can keep at it. And again, you're not a pest, you're not annoying, you are making yourself stand out during this period. And the other thing, the last bullet point here, is change it up. And by that, I mean, some people are morning people, some people are evening people, some people are in meetings all day long and don't get back to their office till 6 o'clock at night. Some people are early birds and get into the office at 6:30 in the morning because they want to catch up on paperwork or their emails. So try to catch them at the right time. Don't always do your follow-up at the same time. So if you're always following up in the middle of the day and you're not getting a response, try a different time. Try to send something early in the morning. Try to send something at 6 or 7 o'clock at night, because you never know. And by the way, sometimes if it's early in the morning or it's 6 or 7 o'clock at night, they don't have as many emails coming in at that time. So it is a time when it might not get lost in the shuffle. So it's just another approach to think about changing it up that way regarding the time of the day. So follow up, follow up, follow up, okay? The other thing that we hear from many, many students who, we know have met with an employer at a career fair or have applied to a job, and when they come in to see us and we say, have you heard from IBM? Well, I guess they're not interested in me. And we would say, well, why are they not? How do you know they're not interested in you? I haven't heard back. Well, no response is not always no interest. No response is that maybe they're still in the process. Again, this is your time to jump in there with your follow-up and get noticed. No response is many employers sometimes during busy times are working between 10 and 30 job openings at the same time. So it just means that they are not yet sorting through that particular job that you applied to. Again, I can't stress enough, the more that you follow up, the more that your name will get noticed, because they just want a good, talented student to pop up during that time. So that's your time. So no response is not always no interest. Students ask how often to follow up. What I would say, we're going to post an article at the end of this that's called Pleasantly Persistent. And I believe that the article says, just, not every single day, try to separate it by about 5 or 7 days. But you just keep following up if you're interested in that job or that company until somebody tells you not to follow up, okay? You do it professionally, you do it in an engaging way, you change up the time or the way that you do it. You send one article, 2 months later, you send another article. You would be surprised sometimes how long it takes to fill a job. So don't assume that because you haven't heard that the job is not filled. So you can keep doing that. We're going to post that article in the chat box before we're finished. It's called Pleasantly Persistent. So you can be persistent in a pleasant way. You are not annoying, and you can be creative in the way that you reach out. don't wait during this time. I go back to that first picture, and basically so many students, it's just, you know, this is a new skill to learn. So nobody teaches you this in your classes. We teach you how to do a resume. We teach you how to do a cover letter. We talk about LinkedIn, but this is the real, this is the engine, and this is the process of how you actually get yourself noticed and get to the front of the line. So the overall mantra here is don't wait. The other thing that I want to say about checking in, I do want to tell a little story about one of our students. He had connected with an alumni. The alumni connected him with one of the big investment banks with another alumni. And he had a great conversation. He sent that person his resume. And I believe that that was in July. He had graduated in May and didn't hear back, or maybe the alumni said that the job was being filled. And so, okay, fine, but he kept it in his spreadsheet of what he had done, but he really wanted to work at that investment bank. So what he did was, come late September, he just went right back there and he did another check-in. And guess what? There was a job open in late September. And guess what? There wasn't a line of other students in back of him, because this was a job that the alumni told him was just opening, wasn't even posted yet. So that's what I'm saying about follow up. It's not a one and done type of a thing. Even when the job is filled, you can go back a couple of months later. If you're interested in that company, just go back. If you've made an alumni connection or connection through a friend or a neighbor, again, you're not annoying them if you do it professionally. So go back in a couple of months and follow up again. And keep up the momentum. There is maybe 1 or 2 or 5 jobs posted, and there could be other jobs behind that they're discussing that haven't been posted yet, or that are being considered. So again, you want to get yourself noticed so that they will remember you when the jobs open up. So I know that this takes time. This is hard work. This is not easy. But, you know, the truth is that if we go back to slide number 1 here, I think the point of what I'm saying is that this lovely young lady is not doing the proactive tips that we just spoke about. So the proactive tips are what is going to help you. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I am happy to, okay, wonderful. So we have posted that Pleasantly Persistent article. Thank you, Tricia, for posting that. And anytime you can come see any of us, because I'm just speaking in general, but there's nothing more powerful than getting to know you and working with you and understanding your motivation and how we can help you, move your job search forward. So having said all of that, I am okay, 2:26. So happy to answer questions that you may have in the chat box, live, anything that anybody has. We know that it's really frustrating, very frustrating, to apply to so many jobs and not hear back. But I truly can promise you that if you employ 1 or 2 or 3 of these tips that I've told you in the follow-up, it will start to escalate your responses back. So I'd like to encourage you to do that. Questions, thoughts, anything anybody wants to ask? No?
That was good stuff, Judy. I think it's great if you just give 1 minute background to like Emily, who's on here, to say that you were in HR. So it's not just from a career consultant point of view, you're saying that, like working with Estee Lauder, you actually experienced the other side of all that.
Yes. Yes, so Emily and 978457.
Sounds
I
good.
feel like Star Wars. Anyway, yes, so as Kathy said, my whole background was in human resources, and I started my career in talent acquisition. So I was that kind of grumpy recruiter in the office at 6 and 7 o'clock at night, staring at hundreds and hundreds of resumes. So I will tell you that if I got an employee referral, I was thrilled because that's what I wanted. I wanted more of that employee, and I valued that employee's opinion. If I got an email from you, Emily, or the other student at 6 o'clock at night, when my email slowed down at that hour, and you sent me an article, I would be overjoyed. So it's not the traditional way of reaching out. It's a kind of a creative and quirky, and it shows me that you've taken the time to get to know my company, to understand my needs. And as I said, we have formats that we can send you of how to do these follow-up emails or letters. Happy to share that with any of you. At the end of that was my email, judy.stewart@uconn.edu. But yeah, I think, and I've said it 100 times, but I'll say it again, you are actually not annoying when you follow up the right way. You are actually showing your enthusiasm, because I do have to say that most students do not follow up after that first thank you. And those that do will definitely get noticed. So I'd like to encourage you to do that. The other thing, it might have been in the slide, but I didn't say it, and I feel like I want to say it, is social media also. Follow companies that you're interested in. And if you want to make some comments on their social media sites in LinkedIn or something like this. The other thing that I didn't say that's in my notes, many students make judgments about companies. I don't think I would really like that company. And having worked in big companies and very small startup divisions, the truth is you're going to learn anywhere. So I would say any foot in the door is a great foot in the door. So it's most important to start getting that real life experience. And I would not rule out a lot at the beginning. I would really be engaged and get to experience different big, small companies. You're going to learn from all of them. So that's a little bit about my background. Yes, my email's there. So if nobody else has any questions, I'm going to let you go on. The next seminar today is going to be a wonderful one, and we are going to do an employer panel, and that is starting at 3 p.m. today, 3 p.m. today. So if you have some more time, please join us. And if you are watching this, please go to that tape and watch that one as well. Okay? Thank you all for joining us today, and have a good day. Okay? Okay. Bye-bye.